And good evening, sports fans, and welcome to a brand new episode of Let's Whine About DMV Sports here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tonight, we will, of course, be taking our broad look across the DMV landscape. We, of course, have to talk about the Caps in the playoffs, doing all right. There's currently a game going right now. Hopefully, we'll have the results of that game, so we'll be able to share it with you. We also have to take a look at the week that was for the Nationals and the Orioles. For the Nationals, pretty good. Some pretty exciting games, including two walk-offs against the division-leading New York Mets, which I did not think I would be uttering that sentence in 2025. For the Nats, for the last, here we are. And for the Orioles, well, it's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good at all. We're going to talk about what needs to happen there, and of course, we're going to talk about who both teams face off against next week. We, of course, have to cover the rest of our DMV teams. The Washington Mystics start training camp this week. We're going to talk about what we're looking for there and what are the interesting competitions. We also have to check in with the DC Defenders, who played a couple of games since we last talked about them. We're going to check in on how they're doing overall. Still pretty strong, still looking good there. And then, of course, we have to check in with our college sports going, college baseball and college softball. College softball is almost done with their regular season. 1 week to go. In fact, this upcoming Sunday, not today, but next Sunday, is the last week of the softball regular season. So we're going to look at where our DMV teams are and how they're shaping up for the postseason. The baseball teams still have a couple of weeks to go, but we're still going to take a look at them and see how they're doing as well. And of course, we have to talk a little NFL draft, but we have a fun game to associate with the NFL draft, and we have a surprise guest to go along with that game. All while finishing off, not continuing, unfortunately, finishing off Midwest Beverage Month with what promises to be an interesting beer, nonetheless. We've got all that and more coming up on Let's Whine About DMV Sports here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're going to hear a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to Let's Whine About DMV Sports here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Once again, shout out to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky that's on a whole nother planet. They've got all different kinds of flavors. Be sure to head over to planetjerky.net and get yours today. Also, of course, Vital Apparel, which not only fits great, but donates most of their proceeds to mental health research. So that is a worthy cause. So do check them out. Use code IESR to get 15% and not only save some money, but help them as they continue to support mental health research. And then, of course, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, custom seals, perfect fun finishing touch for your fancy event, whether it be a party, birthday, wedding, any of the above. If you're looking for a last fancy touch, Seal the Deal Wax Seals has you covered. And of course, follow yours truly at Let's Whine _IESR on X, where we're talking all things DMV sports. We've got a lot of sports to get to, but first, of course, we must get to our beverage. Now, I had originally previously said that we would have one more week after this week of Midwest Beverage Month. However, I decided on NFL Draft Night to consume that extra beverage. So we only have 1 week left, which makes sense because this is the last weekend in April. Next week will be May. So we'll be starting a new theme. So that's exciting. But we're finishing off with a rather popular brewery out of Michigan. Let's see where exactly in Michigan we're from. Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is Founders Brewing, and this is their Rubaeus Raspberry Ale. Now, typically, Founders is known for doing actually bourbon barrel aged stuff, kind of like Goose Island. A lot of their stuff, like they've got their most famous one is probably their Kentucky Breakfast Stout, which is a stout with coffee beans and then bourbon barrel aged. So that is quite a dense, quite an intense beer. This one is not along those lines. Like I said, this is their Rubaeus Raspberry Tart Ale. This is a special release beer that comes out in the springtime, so it's appropriate for this time of year. Let's see, it's got 5.7% alcohol on there, so much more typical. 15 IBUs, which is International Bitterness Unit. Yes, that is a thing that actually exists for beer. The lower the number is, the less bitter you're dealing with. It goes up to 120. 120 is typically reserved for either your IPAs, your double IPAs, things like that, or your English special bitter beers, that is also an actual beer that exists. So let's take a look at it. Beautiful color to that. You definitely see a little bit of the hint of the red from the raspberry. But not too cloudy. It definitely kind of has that ale golden undertone to it as well. Let's give it a sniff. Smells like beer. With a hint of raspberry. It smells like beer with a hint of raspberry. Go figure, folks. But of course, it comes down to the taste. It's actually very good. It's very raspberry. And to confirm the taste, we do have our special guest here with us tonight. I am taking off my headphones so that we can turn and hear her. We have Allie is with us tonight. Allie is here. Yep, scoot on in, scoot closer, act like you like me. I know, it's tough. It's tough, isn't it? All right, she's going to taste the beer, folks. Now, Allie does not like beer. Okay, she does not. So this is going to be an interesting face that we're going to see here.
It's not terrible.
It does like raspberries, right? It is very strongly raspberry.
It's got that kind of. It's got the kind of hint of like a cider. It's not a cider, right?
Mhm.
But it's kind of got that vibe to it. I can see it. I can see it.
So this is very good. So yeah, so this is Founders Brewing Rubaeus. It is a springtime beer. So this is the time of year to be getting that beverage. So do head on over. And like I said, Founders makes a ton of great stuff. Their baseline beer is actually a porter. That's kind of their flagship beer that they distribute year round, which is actually very tasty. And I don't really like porters very much. So that's a good one. So do check them out today. But we have Allie here with us, like I hinted at in the open, and we are going to do our draft segment first and foremost. Typically, we've been ending the show with the draft segment, but today we're going to do something a little bit fun. I didn't want to go down the individual picks of the draft for the Commanders and Ravens because I did that last night on our special NFL draft review show of 3 and Out, which you can head over to YouTube and check, and you can hear my thoughts on the Commanders and Ravens. I thought both teams did very well overall, but we're going to have fun with Allie here. So we are both fans of Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're funny.
And of course, one of Key and Peele's most famous sketches that is always very popular this time of year is their NFL player names sketch, where they make fun of the different players. And we're trying to get scooched in closer here. There we go.
The beer over.
Yes. Yeah. No, we didn't knock the beer over. The beer still safe. Now, Allie, I have told you one name repeatedly. That's one of your favorites that you've ever heard. And it is now former Ohio State running back, now Cleveland Brown, because he was drafted in the second round on Friday, Quinshon Judkins. I don't know if there's ever been a player who has more appropriately embodied the spirit of the Key and Peele sketch. But there are other names in this draft class. And what Allie is going to do, and this is the challenge here, she is going to tell me if they are, and I don't know what the right phrasing to say, if they are more Key and Peele appropriate than Quinshon Judkins, or if Quinshon Judkins is still the king of Key and Peele names. Now, there may be other players in the future that challenge. Of course, there is quarterback General Booty, who is still in the college ranks. Some of the names we've debunked that they're nicknames. So some of them,
that one's not.
That one is not. There are other ones we have seen that are indeed nicknames.
Yes.
That one is not, but here's what's going to happen. So I have found 7 names. Now, I want it to be appropriate because some of the players' last names have cultural backgrounds. Like one great example is Donovan Izuruwaku, who of course has African heritage going back. So that's the descendant of that name. And there are lots of those names, but there are some names that I'm just like, okay, somebody made that up. Well, obviously somebody made it up, obviously, because the parents wrote it and put it on the birth certificate. And we've got Larry B in the chat room jumping in. Good evening, Larry. By the way, Larry, you're one of our beer enthusiasts. So this is the Rubaeus Ale from Founders Brewing. It is refreshingly fruity, a little tart, and very good. And it's spring. So,
and I would actually drink it. Like,
you would actually drink it? Take another sip. I dare you.
I really would. I mean, I don't love the aftertaste because it has beer aftertaste, which I'm not a fan of.
Absolutely.
But the front of it gives cider, and you know how much I love the that raspberry beer. You know which one I'm talking about.
Which raspberry?
The one with the pretty. Oh gosh, I'm bad at this. Pretty bottle. That's not helpful. It's like a very fancy Art Deco looking kind of. That doesn't help you either.
She likes what is typically referred to, and I would describe this as fruit beer. And by the way, that's beer spelled B-I-E-R, which are fruit, which are actually, most of those typically are German.
Yeah. It's
German and Belgian.
Think of, and we've had it a bunch of times. It's like yes. And
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
It's the Duchess.
Yeah.
The Duchess. The Duchess de Cherry.
Yeah.
It's a cherry one. That one is very good. Now I want to go back to Total Wine again. Anyways, all right. So, like I said, we have 7 names, and you're going to have to tell us if they are above Quinshon Judkins for Key and Peele quality, or if Quinshon Judkins still remains supreme. Now, if more than one beats Quinshon, then you have to pick which one of the two is the superior Key and Peele quality name. And yes, raspberry beer sounds so good, and especially when it gets hot outside. Now, thankfully, we had a very lovely day today, but we're not too far away from the 90s, folks. So beers like this one are going to be perfect for that type of weather. All right, so we are going to go approximately in draft order. First round, the names were pretty ordinary, nothing absurd. But in the second round, we had a player, and I couldn't type out his name. I ran out of time before I could get in here. His name is Ariante Ursary. Now, what makes Ariante's name funny is that it has more vowels than consonants in it. It's got 8 vowels. The first name has 6 vowels in it.
It's a very unique way of spelling. Oh, and I see it's A-I-R-E. So it's
A-I-R-E-O-N-T-A-E and then Ursary.
Okay.
So I thought just the first name alone and the number of vowels. Yes, very big player.
He's a big
boy out of Minnesota, now on the Houston Texans. So congratulations to him as well. Everything's bigger in Texas, even though he came from Minnesota. Oh, those Midwest boys.
They build up
those corn-fed Midwest boys. They get bulky. All right, so Ariante Ursary, is his name superior to Quinshon Judkins or not superior?
It doesn't it still sounds like a normal name.
Yeah.
Like it's not as weird.
Okay.
And I mean it's unique because of the vowel thing. I get that, but
Many vowels. It's so many vowels.
So many vowels.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it just the last name especially sounds like it's just maybe like a family name.
Yeah. It's a normal name. The last
weird,
name is
I gotta
normal.
say.
It's the first name, and that's going to be the case. Some of these have one of the names sounds normal, but the other one just makes it a little goofy.
Mhm.
It makes it sound like somebody took a. It's like when people have a really complex first name and their last name is Johnson. It's like the first name makes it
okay.
silly. All right, okay, but Quinshon Judkins defeats Ariante
Yeah.
Ursary. All right, cool.
Ursary.
And again, congratulations to Ursary for
rolls off the
going
tongue
in
really
the
well,
second
too.
round. It does.
Ariante
It
Ursary.
does. It
Just
does for sure.
woo.
All right, next. Now, this player was selected in the third round to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Not too far away from us in Charlotte.
Nope.
Now, the last name is a cultural name. He's Nigerian descent. But the first name is what makes this one.
Okay.
His name is Princely Unmanmielen.
Princely is a cool name.
Princely.
I get it.
I thought that was a bit of a silly one.
Get it.
But that's one that if you spell it out in Scrabble, you're getting a lot of points.
Yeah.
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 So what do you think? What do you think about Princely Unmanmielen?
That's a cool last name.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean Princely seems again, people name their kid, Queenie or Prince and all that stuff all the time. So I think Princely is still kind of relatively normal.
But here's my question I ask you is that a name that Key and Peele would come up with?
No.
No, you don't think so? You think they would go sillier?
So normal.
Okay.
It's still such a normal sounding name to me.
Okay. So then I have to ask you the question. Quinshon Judkins or Princely Unmanmielen?
Quinshon Judkins is still winning.
Perfect. Excellent. Very good. All right, so that's 2 down. Next, okay, this one's just silly. I'm not going to that one because he went later.
Okay.
So these two we're coming back to. This one's just silly. Mac McWilliams.
It's very Scottish.
That sounds like a name that somebody was like writing down random names and was like trying to come up with goofy names and was like, oh yeah. What's a funny name that I would make up? Mac McWilliams. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, it's like John Smith, but for
kind of. Yeah.
Don't judge me for that one. Yeah, no, that's it's like very Scottish sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't think it sounds it's just giving like random name as opposed to silly name to me. It is funny that it's like Mac and then Mick.
Yeah, Mac Mick. That's
McWilliams.
Yeah,
I get it. I get the funny thing about it. It's just
and of course, Larry B chiming in here. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, who, by the way, DeBrickashaw Ferguson was the inspiration for that Key and Peele sketch.
No way.
No, 100%. That is a real person.
Well,
he was the left tackle. He was the left tackle of the New York Jets back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and Jordan Peele was playing Madden. And he was playing as the Jets, and he came across the name, and he went to Keegan-Michael Key and went, "Hey, Key, you know there's a player named DeBrickashaw Ferguson?" And then Key goes, "Oh, buddy, you don't even know the half of it when it gets to these names." And then that was the inspiration for the names in the sketch, and then the actual clips that they use of the players. They used Charles Woodson, who was a football player back then, who you remember before football games, they used to do the thing where they'd introduce their name and their school and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Charles Woodson kind of messed with that formula a little bit. He wasn't traditional. He would do like quirky, weird things. He was the first one that really kind of did that. And so they combined those two elements to come up with that sketch. So
now I know what you're saying.
So the DeBrickashaw Ferguson, yes, he was the original inspiration. All right, so Quinshon Judkins or Mac McWilliams?
Quinshon Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins. All right, fair enough.
That one just sounds so. When you told me that, I thought you were joking.
Yeah.
And no, disrespect to him at all. He's so.
By the way, Mac McWilliams now a Philadelphia Eagle. So congratulations to him going into it. Yeah, that's my son's favorite team. Boo.
It's because
Boo. Anyways,
favorite.
all right.
He loves his.
This one's funny. Ruben, and I actually looked up the pronunciation. I found this out. Ruben Hippolyte.
Hippolyte. The second.
The second is what makes this great. Now, Ruben Hippolyte, fun fact, University of Maryland.
Right, cool.
Drafted in the 4th round by the Chicago Bears. I had no idea, even as the DMV representative for the network, I had no idea who this player was. I had to look him up. Linebacker, and now he's a Chicago Bear.
Hippolyte.
Ruben Hippolyte the second is what really adds
the second. I think that really gives it. I don't know. I mean, I think that one might almost take the cake.
You think so?
It's the second. It's just, to me, like, that's just.
Well, it's funny because the actual pronunciation is not strange. That's not super strange.
Kind of like
it's the spelling.
Well, it's kind of like a Greek pronunciation.
Yeah, it's the spelling and the fact that he's the second.
Yeah, it's the second thing. It's definitely it's not only his very unique name, he's the second person who got that name in his family.
Yeah. I would have never guessed that pronunciation. Neither would we were guessing it yesterday when it was drafted in the 4th round. Yeah, that's what we guessed. That's what we guessed.
Which I'm sure he gets all the time.
All the time. All right. So Quinshawn Judkins, Ruben Hippolyte II.
I'm gonna go with Ruben on top.
Ruben Hippolyte II defeats Quinshawn Judkins.
I don't know. It's the comedy.
Oh my gosh!
It's the comedy.
It's the comedy of the second. Yes, I think that makes it fantastically Key and Peele. All right, so we have Ruben Hippolyte is on to the finals. Okay, so he's on to the finals. All right, next one. This is just I don't even know what to say about this one.
That's a name.
Upton Stout. It sounds like a beer.
It sounds like the name of an old, like, British gangster.
British gangster, yeah.
Like Upton Stout over there, and I don't know if you've seen all those movies. I can't think of what they're called. There's a bunch of movies about that. Like, it's like the 60s or so or something, and then there's the ones that go all the way back and.
There we go.
Whatever. But
drafted in the 3rd round for the San Francisco 49ers, by the way.
It just sounds
out of Western Kentucky.
They write weird things about how people do things.
Yeah, indeed. All right. So it's a shorter name. It's not really that quirky. I just thought the last name Stout was funny.
It's interesting. Well, and it's funny too because he's not short, so it's a contradiction there.
British gangster. Yep.
British gangster show. That's what it sounds like to me. Like the shows that I can't think. Oh, Peaky Blinders. That's
Peaky Blinders. Yep. That's that's the one.
It's giving Peaky Blinders.
Yep. Yeah, Larry, you got it. Yep. Peaky Blinders. Yep, that's the one. We got it. All right. So it's still being compared to Quinshawn Judkins. So because we have to
Judkins beats
Upton Stout. I kind of figured that's a funny one.
It's not a bad name. I don't mind it.
All right. This one, now there's a little bit more of a story behind this one. Okay. So this player was drafted in the 7th round. So just barely snuck in, but still got drafted. Still, good thing. I have to pull him up so you can see why it's funny. So Zeke Biggers drafted to Miami out of Georgia Tech. The reason why this is funny is because he is 6'6", 321 pounds.
Holy cow.
So he is literally bigger, and his name
that is funny.
Is Zeke Biggers.
I get it. It's funny.
Now, his actual first name is Ezekiel.
Okay.
But he has always gone by Zeke, and in his entire career at Georgia Tech, he was referenced as Zeke Biggers.
Okay. I think that's funny. The irony is funny.
Yeah, the irony. Yeah, 6'6", 320 pounds, and your last name is Biggers.
Well, I guess it is ironic. It's hard to. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if his name was
strange, but
if his name was Little Biggers,
that would be quite funny.
That would be good.
Or like his nickname was Little or something.
Yeah. No, his nickname is Big Zeke. They got real. Big Zeke Biggers.
It's weird.
It's fine. Yep.
I get it. No, that's pretty normal. I'm gonna say Quinshawn's still definitely
Quinshawn above Zeke.
Yeah,
all right.
It's a cool name though.
This last one's my favorite.
Okay. Tell me.
So this man was the second to last pick of the draft. Safety out of Florida, my college rival, going to Florida State. Triquez Bridges.
Oh, that's how you pronounce that.
Honestly, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I honestly don't know.
It could be either.
It could be either way. But
pronunciation is
again, this is a case where we have a normal last name, very normal last name.
Normal last
but
name.
that first name, they threw darts. They threw darts at the alphabet and picked out the letters. I'm pretty sure.
Possible.
Triquez Bridges. And when I think of some of the first names that they came up with that, Le Carpatron Duke Marriott, what was some other ones? Hingle McCringleberry.
Oh my god.
Dinklage Morgoon. Some of the first names they came up with. I feel like Triquez is right within their wheelhouse.
I could see it.
Of a Key and Peele first name.
I could see it. I mean, I could see that being in the sketch somewhere, or like, you know what it would give? It honestly would be like the one where it's actually them, because those occasionally they pop in.
Yeah, that's right. When they did the second one, they did they did Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. They did him. Who were some of the other ones? There were some good ones. Prince of Mukamura.
Yeah, and they
was in there, and
the actual player come in with
their
unique name.
Ishmael Kitchen was in there. I'm trying to remember it. There were a handful of really funny ones, and I gotta respect it though, because like you have to have an incredible amount of self-awareness of your name and be willing to joke about it to go on that show and do that.
Oh yeah, and I think that would be where he would be.
Yeah, like, Triquez Bridges would definitely be.
He'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'll be in the sketch.
I think Princely Unman Manelli would be in there too.
I agree.
Unman Mielen.
Yeah.
And probably Donovan Izuruwaku would be in there as well.
That's a good name.
I think.
I really
think
like that
there as
well.
Name. But okay. Triquez Bridges or Quinshawn Judkins?
Quinshawn Judkins.
So Quinshawn Judkins defeats everybody except Ruben Hippolyte II. So therefore, in the Patt household, Ruben Hippolyte II is officially now the go-to Key and Peele football name. Supplanting Quinshawn Judkins.
Still love, but yeah. General Booty is still...
General Booty is a great
hysterical. one. I still cannot believe that is his God-given first name.
I still like, and I know it's a nickname, but he actually carried it to the NFL. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yes. Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was like, no way. Yeah. But it's a nickname.
Right.
I was like,
And then another one, and I don't remember if we looked this one up, if this was his real name, but Storm Duck.
I have not heard that one.
Storm Duck.
Oh, that's a weird one.
Yep. He played at UNC. Fun fact.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
So there you go.
Storm.
So Ruben Hippolyte II is our king of names, football player names, for the time being, until the next crazy one comes out of nowhere. But in any case, congratulations to everybody who got drafted, and congratulations to the numerous players that got signed as undrafted free agents, because you still get your opportunity to go out there and compete and try to earn your roster spot. So, we'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. We will do another NFL draft segment next week talking about the undrafted free agents, because we have a little bit of time before our next major sports league drafts. But in the meantime, we're going to take our first break. We're going to say goodbye to Allison. Thank you for coming on the show. Yay. One last question. How glued to the draft was I from Thursday evening through Saturday?
Very much. I did contemplate tossing your phone a couple of times, not going to lie.
It is a new phone.
It is a new phone. I can throw it. I shouldn't.
You shouldn't throw it. You absolutely shouldn't. All right, folks. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to actually talk some sports.
Talking sports?
Shocker.
Thank you very much.
Shocker. This is the type of sports that Allie talks about. When she used to play fantasy football, she used to pick players based on the names and based on if she had ever heard me talking about them.
Maybe. And also, if it was a team that I liked.
Also, if it was a team that you liked.
I always took the Ravens defense.
That's usually been pretty good. Been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they never let me down.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get back to more sports. Do not go away. You're listening to Let's Whine About DMV Sports here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to Let's Whine About DMV Sports here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Once again, many thanks to my lovely wife, Allie, for coming on and having a little bit of fun with some NFL draft names. Like I said, we will do proper coverage of the NFL draft on next week's show. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it since I talked about it for 3.5 hours last night. So that's why we did that. But especially since we don't have the NBA draft isn't until end of June. The NHL draft, I think, is mid-June, and the MLB is mid-July. So we've got some time so we can fill in with some filler episodes of some of the other stuff going on while we wait for those. Of course, when we get closer, we start doing more reviews. And of course, we're going to have a recap episode probably the third week in May there after the lottery. We're going to have a heavy NBA conversation. And I think probably once we finish up the college baseball season, we'll have to talk MLB as well. But in any case, I am pumped, folks, because I just checked the score and the Caps were able to win Game 3 of their series in Montreal against the Canadiens. No, actually, Game 4. And with a dominant third period, they were actually losing 2-1 entering the third. When I last checked, it was tied, and then they poured on the game go-ahead goal and then 2 empty netters. So the Caps move ahead 3-1. For the series, which is a great place to be. I did predict that this would be a 6-game series. We'll see if they can close it out in DC on Wednesday, I believe, is when the next game is scheduled to be played. Prove me wrong, make it 5. They've managed to do this without Alieksky Protas, one of their top line wingers, which is fantastic. Protas is not expected to miss the playoffs. I believe Martin Favre is expected to miss the entirety of the playoffs, but aside from the third game of the series where they gave up 6 goals, it wasn't the greatest game. They've been pretty stout defensively. So while Favre is missed, it is currently not catastrophic that he's there. But the whole team is playing well. Ovechkin's been productive, of course. He scored his first playoff overtime goal of his career, which is phenomenal to think about with all the times they've been to the playoffs. and he scored a couple of goals here and there as well. But everybody's contributing. Dylan Strom's having a great series. Anthony Bouvier has done great in the first line. In place of Protas. He's done fantastic. All the lines are getting it done. Duheim had a good game. Connor McMichael's been scoring in the bunches. So really overall excellent play. The scary moment with Logan Thompson in the goal in game 3 where Dylan Strome crashed into him turned out to not be catastrophic because he played tonight and played well. So hopefully he gets a couple days rest and he'll be back at it. So that's the Caps playoff update. Everything's rolling. Everything's looking great. Meanwhile, the Carolina Hurricanes are now up 3-1 over the New Jersey Devils. So that is looking promising to be their second round matchup. It's going to be the Hurricanes, which is going to be a very good series. To me, the Hurricanes are one of their tougher competitors when it comes to in the East, teams they have to overcome in order to get through the East. I would say Carolina and Toronto are probably two of the tops on that list. Let's take a quick look at how the rest of the NHL playoffs are looking here. Let's see. The Winnipeg Jets are who finished the season as the President's Cup winners for the most points, are actually tied with the Blues, 2-2 in that series. So that's looking tough. The Stars and Avalanche are tied at 2 games apiece. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Wild, the Golden Knights won their division. They're also tied at 2 games apiece. And the Kings and Oilers, LA leads that one 2-1. Game 4 is going on right now. The East has been a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more unbalanced. The Maple Leafs lead the Senators 3-1 in their series. The Maple Leafs were the winner of the Eastern Division. The Caps, of course, lead the Canadiens 3-1, as we discussed. The Hurricanes lead the Devils 3-1. And the Panthers lead the Lightning 2-1. Whoever comes out of this Maple Leafs, Lightning, Panthers, Senators, I'm going to go ahead and take the Senators off the list. I don't think they're going to come back against the Maple Leafs down 3-1. But whichever one of those 3 teams comes out is going to be a force to reckon with in the Eastern Conference Finals. Whoever they play, whether it's the Caps, assuming they wrap it up against the Canadiens, or the Hurricanes, either one's going to have a tough matchup there. Moving on to baseball, we're going to start with the positive team first, and because I got a rant about the other one here. So we're going to talk about the Nats. Very busy week. They played 8 games since we last talked to about them, including today. 5-3, though, in that stretch. Excellent play. Pitching's been great, continues to be great. Jake Irving had a phenomenal start the other day against the Mets. I believe it was against the Mets, yes. And then who else has done great? Mitchell Parker had a rough start today. Mackenzie Gore's last start wasn't the greatest, but it was still solid. I think he still had a quality start. So the pitching continues to do well. Shoot, even Brad Lord wasn't half bad yesterday, although, man, does this team still need to figure out their 4th starter, I think. I don't know if Brad Lord is going to be the guy. But it might be a situation where they just wait for maybe a healthy Cade Cavalli or a healthy Josiah Gray to come up and take that spot. That might be what they're doing regardless. Player of the week, kind of an interesting one, not a statistically based one, but CJ Abrams. Now, why CJ Abrams, you may ask? Well, first of all, he came back healthy. That's good to see, and he's played well. But he scored. So they've played three games of a 4-game series against the Mets. Game 4 is tomorrow. They've won 2 out of those 3, both of which, and they were in Washington, so at home, were by walk-off in the bottom of the 9th due to Mets error. And CJ Abrams was the winning run both times. First time was on Friday. The game was tied at 4. And I think it was James Wood. Yeah, it was James Wood hit a dribbler grounder up the middle. Abrams was on first. No, Abrams was on first. Abrams, so the ball squeaks through to the outfield. Abrams is flying. He goes around second. He's headed to third. And the ball is rolling slowly. So the second baseman and the shortstop can't get there because it's rolling away from him. The center fielder is having to charge. He was back to prevent the extra base hit or to minimize the extra base hit. So he's having to come from way back. And Abrams is flying, and he rounds third on this little dribbler hit up the middle, and the throw from center field was atrocious. But in any case, he beats the throw in and scores the game winner. Then today, he's on second base, and Luis Garcia, I believe it was, hit a chopper to first base. Pete Alonso fielded it. The pitcher was running over to cover first, and Alonso airmails it over the pitcher, and Abrams, who had already been running the third, just trots home. And the game's over. So CJ Abrams, being in the right place at the right time and having the right amount of speed, especially on that first one, gets player of the week for scoring 2 runs, 2 game-winning runs. Kind of a rare one to see that happen in the same series off of errors both times on hits that one didn't leave the infield, one shouldn't have left the infield. So just overall, rather fascinating series of events for it to be CJ Abrams both times. Dylan Cruz stays hot, pitching still strong, like I said, but Cruz did end what was an 8-game hitting streak, but he now has hits in 10 of 11 games, a couple multi-hit games. His batting average, which had flatlined, bottomed out, I believe at like 1 something, I forget what it was, is now up to 236. He's getting hot, and that's always a great sign. Next week, we are at the Phillies and at the Reds, 2 decent teams. Not anybody who's going to blow you away like the Mets, although they're beating the Mets pretty well, or the Dodgers, but 2 solid teams, 2 teams to not take lightly, and both of these are on the road. So it might be a little bit uphill, plus they have 1 more game against the Mets. So it's going to be a busy week for those Nats. And now... oh, we're going to whine about this one, guys. We're going to whine. We're whining tonight. This is Let's Whine About Sports. And this team has earned some serious freaking whining. The Orioles. So if you recall last Saturday, the Orioles had actually had a pretty good week. They were 500. They had won 3 out of 5. They had beaten Cleveland in a series. We were hopeful. We were up to 9-11. Not terrible, not terrible. We weren't in last place. Sunday happened. Losing 24-2. Monday they had off. Tuesday wasn't that much better. They lost 7-0. They lost on Wednesday, but at least it was a competitive game. I believe that one was 4-3. They did win on Thursday. They beat the Nats 2-1. There you go. Okay, cool. We recovered. We recovered a little bit. Rain out on Friday. Okay, happens. Saturday comes, doubleheader against the Tigers. We lose both of those. Not really in competitive fashion. And then we lose the rubber match. Today, 7-0. Second shutout, 7-0 loss of the week. And yeah, so 1-6 overall. An absurdly negative run differential. I think between all of those games, they scored 10 runs. They batted 100 with runners in scoring position. I think they had a grand total of 2 quality starts. And by the way, they only have 1 win, so that means they lost one of those. The bullpen's been decent. They've had to eat a lot of innings. Pitching's just been kind of mediocre, although the bullpen has blown a couple of them recently as well. Well, I mean, no bullpen's perfect. No player of the week, because when you go 1-6 in the MLB, you don't get a player of the week award. First, I'm going to say what we've got coming up. We've got a home series against the Yankees, and we're at the Brewers this week. I believe the Yankees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We get Thursday. We get May 1st off. And then at the Brewers next weekend. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and call this one. I'm hitting the panic button. I think we need to, something needs to change. We cannot wait any longer for this to get any worse, okay? We need to at least show action, because one of the things that is absolutely pissing off the entire fan base is that nothing is changing. They're still doing the same crap that has caused them to be 10-17 on the season. And by the way, and I know people might think, oh, Mike, you're still in April. Oh, it's only 27 games. Since June 20th of 2024, this team is 53-63. They have a losing record over the last 116 games with this ridiculously talented roster. And that's not including the 2 games that they lost in the playoffs. That's a 74-win pace over a 162-game season. That's been the pace over the last 116 games with a roster that includes Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westberg, Cedric Mullins, all of these talented players. They've got Felix Bautista in the bullpen, Yanir Cano. Admittedly, half of their pitching is injured. But at what point do the excuses stop? Oh, all the pitching's hurt. Okay. Okay, fine. We just lose games? We just gonna lose games because our pitching's hurt? No, you're not gonna do anything about that? Like, we're not gonna go find some guys? Admittedly, yes, we might have Kyle Gibson. The fan base is freaking hoping for Kyle Gibson, guys. We're crossing our fingers that he makes it up for the Tuesday game against the Yankees. Kyle Gibson. We're hoping for Kyle Gibson. That's a really bad state of being. Oh, the team, everybody's in a slump. Oh, okay, what are we going to do about it? Like, just let everybody be in a slump and lose games? We get 10 games below 500, 15 games below 500 before we do something? What's the breaking point? If you want to take the season seriously, they are the 3rd worst team by winning percentage in baseball right now. 3rd worst. And this is a league that has the Chicago White Sox and the Colorado Rockies. So any competent organization, even any semi-incompetent organization, that is the worst you can be is 3rd worst because you have 2 completely inept organizations over here. Slight disrespect to them. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. Like, they're doing the absolute worst they could possibly be, being the 3rd worst team, because it would be physically impossible to be worse than the White Sox and the Rockies, with the amount of talent on this team, at least. Oh, I love this excuse I keep seeing on X. Oh, they have great contact and great hard hits. They're just unlucky. Okay. Sweet. So we're just going to unlucky our way to a losing record after expecting to be a wild card team or contend for the division? We're just going to okay. So you're right, guys. You're right. Okay, we're just unlucky. All right, let's just keep doing what we've been doing and just hope that it turns around. Talk to me when we're 20 and 30. Like, at some point the excuses have to stop and something has to change. And you're not getting rid of any of the players. If you got rid of the pitching, it'd probably be a net positive. New ownership. What are you going to do? There's a couple of obvious, easy places to start. Get rid of some of these hitting coaches that are our best players are batting 210, 215, 225. Woo. Thank God for Cedric Mullins. He's the only one hitting worth a damn. Oh, and Ramon Arias and Ryan O'Hearn. I do have to give credit to those two. Those 2 guys have actually hit very well. Injuries everywhere, okay? Okay, cool, guys. We're injured. All right, let's just keep losing games. That's going to be our logic at this point? Let me tell you what somebody's got to get canned. They got to show some action. Because if they don't show action, then people are just going to stop showing up to games. People are just going to stop paying attention. And you'll have to somehow manage to create your momentum. By the way, good luck doing that against the freaking Yankees. And Brewers, not bad either. The Brewers aren't bad either. They're like middle of the road. You might be able to create some momentum against the Brewers. But even still, you might be 11 and 19 going into that. Thank God for Tomoyuki Sugano as well. He's pitching well. Cade Povich had a really good start last week. I'll give him credit. They need to make some decisions in the starting rotation, and they need to be. Here's what ownership can do to help Mike Elias the best. I don't think Elias is going anywhere. I'd be very surprised if they got rid of Hyde at this point. I think it has to get a little bit worse. I think the hitting coaches, you can start targeting them for sure. But ownership has to have a meeting with Elias, a meeting with Hyde, and go, look, guys, we know the rotation sucks, all right? We're willing to eat some cash. Go do what you need to do to try to fix this. Charlie Morton should not start another game for the Baltimore Orioles. He's been terrible. I've seen enough. 6, 7 appearances. The Orioles haven't won a single game that he's pitched in. That's one of the reasons why. They're almost 500 aside from him. Dean Kramer, really rough start. I think there needs to be a plan to bump him out at some point. I'm okay with sticking him in as the 5 for the time being, but he needs to get bumped out sometime in the near future, probably when guys start getting back healthy. I think Gibson comes up. He slots in. There's your 5. You've got Sugano, Povich, Gibson, Kramer, and Morton. Like I said, I don't think Morton can start another game for this organization. I also don't see how they have a choice. They need somebody to get back healthy so that they can bump Morton out of it. Anybody. I'd take Albert Suarez at this point over Morton. But ideally, it would be Zach Eflin, getting Eflin back healthy. Or at least to the point where maybe Morton only pitches like 2 more games, and then you bump him. I know, they gave him a 7-figure salary, 8-figure salary this year. Don't care. That's one of the things that ownership can do. Go, okay, we screwed that one up. We'll eat it. Let's eat it to make the team better. Okay, cool. Also, it'll be easy when Eflin comes back because then you don't have to sign somebody. You just fill him in. You keep Kramer in there until hopefully Grayson Rodriguez gets healthy. Eflin, I think, will be by mid-May, I read. Grayson, we still haven't heard. Keep Kramer holding in. Maybe if Kramer really does do poorly, maybe you give somebody... Well, Chase McDermott's also hurt. Brandon Young got a couple opportunities. It was okay. I don't know if I'm ready to give him a full-time spot yet. I don't know if that's necessarily a massive improvement there. So you let Kramer hold the spot until Grayson's back. Cool. All right, now you've got Eflin, Grayson, Sugano, assuming he keeps pitching well, Gibson, Povich. All right, okay. Now we're cooking. There's a little bit of patience there, but something needs to happen now because it's not just 27 games, It's 116 games of this. And something needs to change. Now that I've ranted about that, let's wrap in a couple more DMV Sports before we wrap this bad boy up. The Mystics start training camp this week. A couple of non-drafted roster invites added in, but I'm really curious to see that guard competition between the 2 draftees, Olsen and Bay, and as well as Sugg Sutton. So I'm really curious to see how that works out and just to see the rookies kind of get into the rhythm. It's going to be a young team. It's going to be a really interesting trial and error period. But I mean, it all starts day one. You got to get in there and you got to put in the work. And I think this is a team that's ready to work. I think there's enthusiasm behind it. I think there's a positive energy in the building. And even if the season doesn't go great, I think they're going to be at least in a positive mindset throughout. The DC Defenders defeated the Arlington Renegades yesterday, 37-33. That moves them to 4-1 on the season, still in first place. Looking at some of the individual stats here, Jordan Tamu is not having a great game or great season, but that's okay. The rushing is doing really well. The team is averaging about 125 yards a game, 130 yards a game, so that's pretty good. Abram Smith and Deion Jackson leading the way there, and Jordan Tamu doing well in the rushing game. Receiving, Chris Rowland is the leading receiver, 22 catches for 251 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ty Scott had a really good game. He's missed a couple of games, though, but he has 13 catches for 205 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Mickens, I remember when he came out in the draft. He has 9 catches for 117 yards for the team. And then let's see, defensively, Anthony Hines has 3 sacks. Derek Roberson, 4.5. Andre Mintz, 4.5. The team has 16 sacks in 5 games, so averaging a little bit over 3 per game. That's pretty good. Not a ton of interceptions. They have 6 scattered among 6 players. but they do also have 5 fumbles, so they're forcing a couple turnovers a game. That's pretty good. Rowland also the kick returner, punt returner, so he's producing 127 total yards a game. So Rowland really stepping up, being a main guy for this team. So good stuff so far from the defenders. Let's hope they keep that going. And that will ran short on time. We didn't quite get to college baseball and softball, but let's take a quick look at the rankings. The rankings might be outdated though. Yes, the rankings are outdated. They have not been updated. But the last ranking, we did have nobody on the men's side was ranked, which makes sense because they've just been doing okay, not great. So that tracked. And in terms of softball, let's check the softball rankings really quick here. And again, these are old rankings, but we have Virginia Tech was 14th in the last ranking, so we'll see how they update. And Virginia received votes and Liberty received votes. However, they were the first 2 teams out. So like I said, College Softball World Series is going to start here in the coming weeks, so we'll be paying close attention to our DMV schools, as there promises to be several in that tournament. So that's going to be fun to follow. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Thank you to Allie for jumping in and participating with me. Shout out again to our sponsors, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Jerky that's on a whole other planet. Head over to planetjerky.net to get yours today. Also, Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use code IESR to get 50% off of their comfortable gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Seal the Deal Wax Seals, custom seals by Cecilia B, a perfect touch for your special occasion. And of course, follow us on all social media on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. Also visit the website, iesportsradio.com. There you'll find our merchandise, our show pages, our show schedule, the blog, and so much more. Be sure to follow yours truly at @LeftMind_IESR on X. And of course, this is my prime time to remind everybody of the show's main message, which is please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. One of my favorite social media posts regarding this topic is that you can afford an Uber or a taxi before you can afford a DUI. So please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. It is simply not worth it. I will not be going anywhere after this, and if you've been drinking, neither should you. So if you're at home, please stay put, or if you're out and about enjoying the last evening of your weekend before the work week kicks off, please find a safe way home. We will be back next week to talk more Caps playoffs. Because I don't think they'll physically be able to be eliminated, even if they do lose the next 2 by the Canadians, so they'll still be going there. Of course, more baseball. Hopefully the Orioles can turn it around, and the Nats can keep that roll going. By the way, Nats up to 3rd in the division. They passed the Marlins, but Atlanta's hot, so you got to stay ahead of them. And of course, we'll have to check in on these 2 United. We'll do our proper NFL draft wrap-up, and hopefully we'll be able to take a better dive into college baseball and college softball. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Mike Patt for Let's Whine About DMV Sports on the IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.